It's another day to travel. Another great day to travel. Well, depending on where you're traveling from. It is, let me get the date here because I usually get it wrong. It is Thursday, August 10th, 2022. Keep that in mind as you listen to me talk and as you listen to Tommy Danielson talk, because this is posted on Facebook and YouTube, and you may get it a week later, or for all I know, a year later, for all I know, 20 years later. At any rate, I'm Rudy Maxa. I'm a travel journalist and broadcaster. My partner's Tommy Danielson is there in the white T-shirt. I'm in the white one with a collar because I really dressed up today. Tommy is an expert on airline miles, hotel points, rental car points, all kinds of travel hacks, etc. He is also partners. We are also partners in a small luxury European tour company called maxatours.com. You can find information by going there, or you can also subscribe to my free, irregular, travel newsletter there. Okay. So it's today. It's Thursday. It's August 10th.
It is. Another day in paradise.
All I can tell you is that I know that United and American have both told. United did it first, and American, like 2 hours later, announced the same thing. They told all their staff, all their employees, to stop giving out any buddy passes for free trips to and from Europe, particularly from Europe, and that they should themselves not take any trips to Europe. You know, if you're an airline employee, you can take it. You can buy a deeply discounted ticket to travel on your airline and other airlines. But just because the airports are so clogged in Europe, at least this month, non-revenue passengers, which would be staffers or people they give free buddy passes to, don't go to Europe, they're advising, because you may not get back anywhere near close to the time you want to get back from. So it's a real life commentary.
We're talking about buddy passes, though, so meaning the ones that airline employees can give. And you know, there is an extensive culture of kind of an interesting way of how some of these benefits work for some of these airlines. That we have a little insight on that, but we're not going to mention that here. But buddy passes is for, if I work for an airline, I had seniority, I could issue a free ticket. It's not really free. You got to pay some taxes and fees and stuff. And that's friends and family. It's not that they have banned it. It's that they have encourage them to not, the employees not to do it at this time.
And I think it's important we say that those both buddy passes and most staff travel, unless you're, an executive at one of the airlines, most free, and I put that in quotes because, as you say, some people have to pay taxes and landing fees and so on. All that is on space available. So that's why they say you don't know when you're going to get home. You cannot book a confirmed seat on those special passes. You just stand by and hope that there's an extra seat on the flight you can come home on. And these days, not many extra seats coming home from Europe.
No, I think that it's important to remember that the airlines do not have the same amount of planes, the same amount of employees, and the same amount of seats that they had before the pandemic.
True.
I know Southwest is struggling to fill their schedule up. They still have a massive amount, probably 80 to 100 planes that are not in the air right now because of lack of staff to keep them up there. I mean, I flew to Des Moines, Iowa on Monday on Southwest, and also back on United. There wasn't a single, so I flew 737-800, the biggest plane that Southwest did. I flew them out and United back, and wasn't a single seat available on any of the 4 flights that I took to Des Moines, Iowa.
Jeez. Well, Russia has a whole different problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, they are running out of planes. This is a good. This is Gary at View from the Wing who alerted me to this fact here that Reuters is reporting that. So as we know, Russian airlines are not allowed to purchase parts from Boeing and Airbus or any other engine manufacturer or part manufacturer outside all of these planes that you can't. There's nothing that's made in Russia. So we are now seeing that Russian planes that this sanction is working. Russian planes are taken out of commission and they're cannibalizing the plane, meaning they'll take an Airbus 320, park it, take parts off of that to put onto new planes. So obviously this. At least as you can see already, an Airbus 350, which is the flagship of Aeroflot. Well, depending on how you look at it, Boeing would like to say that it's the 777 that is, but it's the newest plane, we can say. The Airbus 350, one plane is grounded already and is being disassembled so that you can use it as a part plane. Wow, so they're using a $300 million plane as a part plane. Brand new one.
Wow. course, they don't have quite the extensive flight network they had before sanctions either. I mean, they can fly to Turkey and China and, some places in Africa, but they're certainly not flying to the United States or the Western European countries. So,
right. Well, I will say that this is a good thing that it's happening. That Russia is starting to feel the
pinch.
They're feeling the sanctions on this, and as it says also in the article, the newer planes like the Neos, the Maxes, and the 787s and 350s. I don't know if there are any 787s in Russia, but they have data and technology that needs to be constantly updated. So if those updates don't happen, then it's can go south pretty quickly.
Yep. What else you got?
We've got Hyatt, Hertz, who are in the middle of the night here a couple of days ago. Look at this deceptive email that went out here. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Members get on the road faster. That was the headline of the email. So I thought it was a marketing email. I actually went back and took a look at it because I also got it. And I just redeemed for a free week rent-a-car in Hawaii because it's so expensive there. Member get on the road faster was the headline. That tells you that that's a devaluation, right?
No, it doesn't.
Starting August 9th, we're adjusting Gold Plus rewards point redemption values. Take a moment and explore exclusive membership like skipping the counter and going straight to your car. Talk about politician notification. In reality, it's a 27% devaluation, which is massive. It's obviously a crazy increase. 200 points doesn't sound like a lot, but the weekly rentals are up by 1,000 points. So it's a significant thing. It's 27%.
And there was no warning on this, right? As I recall,
No.
It came in the day of or the day before.
Correct.
Surprise. Right.
It's over. You cannot go back to the old rate. So starting August 9th on an email that went on August 9th.
Yep.
Good time. All right. So the last thing I have for today is Hyatt is giving us a little bit of an outlook of how things are going in the hotel world. And I stayed at the Hyatt on Monday night out and it says like we see Frank is commenting here from Facebook, and I just want to respond to that. It's also important that what Hyatt is doing here is the same thing that Southwest is doing. The revenue is up and everything is up, but it's because ticket prices are higher and hotel nights are higher, and that's also what we're seeing here. The average room rate was $198 million. No, $198 million. $200 million record management fee is what they cleared in the last 27% higher than the next highest quarter in 2019. So an average spend for or billed for a hotel night is $198 per night in the Hyatt system, which to me is a pretty, I would say, decently high number.
Well, yeah, given that they have, not all Hyatts are as fancy as other Hyatts. So there are plenty of Hyatt places and less expensive Hyatts. So yeah, right. 198, right? And you don't get daily.
Yeah, 190. So looking at the by far the biggest, the largest brand that Hyatt has is Hyatt Place and Hyatt House. That they have the most of those hotels, and they are typically not $198, but I guess they are now because when you have less planes available, when you have less hotel rooms available, or in the area where it's high demand in California, high demand in Florida, high demand in Hawaii, then we see like the Grand Hyatt Kauai, which is one of the flagship properties. I don't understand why, because it's so run down. It's a gorgeous place, and Rico the parrot, which is the one out of the three parrots they have in the receptionist, has a lot of personality, but it's very old and it's over $1,000 a night. And so that's the going rate out there. It usually is about $400 to $500. So yeah, it's not an increase in business; it's an increase in price. So
I'd also guess most of the travelers are still leisure travelers. Number one, and number two, that at least in the United States, you're not getting daily housekeeping either yet.
You are not, no. And I don't know why, but it's something I noticed at the hotel I stayed at. Of course, it was a quick business overnight stay, but I came from California. I landed in Des Moines. I stayed at this place, and every guest at this hotel gets breakfast. Guess when breakfast stopped in the morning?
But breakfast what?
When breakfast ended in the morning. Guess when it was?
Oh, when it ended? Well, usually they'll tell us
9
around 10.
a.m.
Wow. Well, they get up
9
early in
a.m.
Iowa.
So
They get up
I
early.
said to the guy, I said, "Wow, so you expect me in my head? I just landed from California. You expect me to be down here at 6 a.m. in the morning to have my breakfast?" They're like,
They
"Well,
get up
that's the
early in
way we
Iowa.
have to do it, man."
They get up early in Iowa. They got to get out on the, get out there and start farming before the sun gets hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was going to farm. That's why I was there for a 24-hour stint. No, I think that at the end of the day, the numbers are good for Hyatt. They have an operating margin. So they produced a $255 million in adjusted earnings before interest. It's a company record for its measure of profit. The generated net revenue. And we're talking about a revenue here of franchise fees and stuff, not from operating hotels and things like that, was 640 million and 255 million profit out of that. So it seems like
the good margin,
it's
like 33% margin. Yeah.
It's 43% margin.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So business.
Yeah, and also that it's encouraging to see also here that 80% recovered business transient bookings. That was up from 50% from this spring. I wonder what impact we see. We saw Microsoft report yesterday that they're cutting back on travel to only essential training and things like that. That's interesting to see for their employees, even though Microsoft is doing very well for themselves. I guess they're just being cautious. So we're seeing moves like that. Well, we also see that larger groups, 98% for conferences and banqueting and stuff. So it's
wow.
In the U.S., it says that it's as the U.S. hotel group manages, banqueting represent 46% of its total revenue base in the quarter, which is quite kind of interesting.
Yeah, and Vegas.
Yeah, and then they forecasting. They aren't terribly concerned about the economic uncertainty for the next quarter. How do we feel about that?
Well, I don't know. Given the market's up, I don't know how many points today. I mean, and inflation's down a little. Gas prices are down. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to be a little optimistic if I was in the hotel business. People want to travel. They're going over to Europe less because it's crowded, and people are taking more road trips. That means more U.S. hotels. So I think they're right to be optimistic.
Even with the Microsoft news that they're cutting back on corporate travel?
Well, I don't know what that means. Really, I don't know what that means. And, Vegas is now filling up with conventions and stuff. I think business travelers are getting back on the road. So, but I'm an optimist.
I think that Vegas is coming. It's coming back on. It's coming back a little bit.
Yeah, and the room rates are coming down a little. For a while there this summer, they were sky high. I think,
right.
They may come back. Well, okay.
As you can see here, that Microsoft tries to reduce business expenses by restricting spending on travel and corporate gatherings. That was in the Wall Street Journal. I read that yesterday.
All right, I got nothing.
No, that's all I got too. It'll be interesting to see how it's also worth noting that Hyatt are divesting. They are divesting more hotels. They've just sold 4 properties. They sold. Among them, Hyatt Regency Green Bay and Hyatt Regency Greenwich. They sold and 4 assets recently, or about 15 times earning before interest and taxes. So they're divesting properties. So they've owned a lot more hotels than most chains have. Why do you think they're doing that?
Well, it certainly adds to their bottom line, could act to their stock price. And keep in mind that doesn't mean they're not necessarily going to be Hyatt hotels. They'll still manage it, but they just don't own the real estate in the building. I mean, Marriott's been doing that for years. They don't want to own anything. They just want to get those.
I think that they say here they are selling these properties to have capital to expand in other areas of the world.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, keep in mind we are talking to you as we record this live or do this live. I always look at the date because I get it wrong half the time. 10th of August. It's, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. What is it? It's 4:15 in the afternoon, East Coast time, 1:15 on West Coast time. I'm Rudy Maxa. This is Tommy Danielson. Invite you to go to maxatours.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page and subscribe to my free newsletter. Sort of gossipy stuff on travel. I send it out infrequently. Not selling anything. You don't have to buy anything. I'm not going to sell your name. Okay, there's our commercial pitch. Goodbye, Tommy.
Commercial pitch for nothing that we don't charge for. That's always a good
exactly right.
Story of my life, baby.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye, friends. We'll do it again soon.